Did you see the new South Park?
I did, yes. The Panderverse. Cartman, Kathleen Kennedy that's gonna be in the zeitgeist. Put a chick in it, make her gay.
And make it to believe. Didn't I ask for there to be a chick in this and to make her gay?
Excuse me. I believe I asked you to put a chick in this and make her gay.
Yes, the chef was a little confused what you meant by that.
We don't really understand how you can do that.
And I want it lame!
Bambi's a baby deer. I don't care.
Put a diverse woman in it, make it lame!
But Mrs. Kennedy, Bambi's a baby deer.
The thing those guys have always done so well is, like, no matter what's going on, they could just find that thing to, like, just make fun of it in this incisive way that will... I was watching a clip the other day, old Johnny Carson clip. Siskel and Ebert were the guests, and Chevy Chase was on stage, and they were reviewing some Chevy Chase movie that, in front of him awkwardly. That was kind of the bit, but they kicked off the conversation where Johnny Carson said, like, do you find it more difficult to review comedy? Because I think that comedy is more subjective. Like, different people find different things funny. And Ebert was like, kind of, but it's sort of easier to review something where either I laughed or I didn't, or either the audience laughed or they didn't.
The fact is, you sit there and either you laugh or you don't, and if you laughed, it was funny.
Well, but
with a drama, you have to decide what you think about it on a slightly higher plane. What it means, whether it's successful, whether it makes a statement. Comedy, it seems to me, is inarguable. If you laughed, you liked it.
And I was thinking about that, because I wanted to know, I'm like, is that true? Like, have I ever not liked a comedy where I laughed the whole time? Like, no, I think if I laughed the whole, like, that really is it. And I was like, well, what about crying? Is it the same thing with, and it's like, no, it's quite, if I feel like, you could never really say, well, as long as the movie made you cry, then it was good. Because, like, you can manipulate people into, sad feelings and stuff.
You put children in danger, I'm going to start crying.
Yeah, doesn't mean the movie is all that good. But, like, if you manipulate me into laughter, that's actually, like, a really fun thing. It's even more fun if I don't want to laugh and you're manipulating me into laughing. That means you got to me. That means, like, you reached me, you trolled me, and and once I laugh, I'm in on it, and we're, like, together on it. That's the power, I think, of comedy. And so, and that's what these guys somehow for 27 years now have figured out how to do, is, like, kind of bring people along for the laugh.
It's amazing. It's amazing that they, after so long with this series, they're able to make, because how many of those jokes went viral on social media? I've saw a bunch of these jokes. And so that means, like, it's really hitting. It's not even just like, it's like you made a couple people laugh. I think it's really hitting. And then, and I think what's good about the episode is, like, I liked both the A plot and the B plot. Like, where the handyman plot is almost funnier in a lot of ways. But
so there were two plots. One was Cartman is he's worried that the Disney executives are going to replace him and everybody he cares about with people of color who are queer identified, but much like all Disney films, and in particular, he's afraid of the studio executive Kathleen Kennedy, as Andres would say.
This weekend will be a rough one for Disney in general and for Kathleen Kennedy in particular.
I wish they did a spoof on Andre, because, like, that's got to be where they got that, like, focus, is all these YouTubers who focus on Kathleen Kennedy.
Nerdrotic and stuff.
People like me have been saying this for years now, and their points are so in line with my own, it almost makes you wonder if they've been taking a few notes, but whatever.
But and it's like, Kathleen, is any Disney executives under my bed? Just check if Kathleen Kennedy's under there.
Kathleen Kennedy's not under your bed. Well, I was watching it with Nina, and she was like, that Midnight's Edge guy, he's gonna make a million videos about this, isn't he?
Oh yeah, like, he's eating good. I've already seen like four videos, produced videos.
However, it did miss the mark because they should have made fun of Bob Iger.
Why the South Park guys are ultimately behind the curve on this one, because by now it's Bob Iger and Kevin Feige they should be going after.
It's like, and here is Gina Carano's response. And here is Gina Carano's follow-up response. And this is a separate video, obviously.
Yeah, here's 7 videos. Yeah. So so that's the A plot, and then what they discover, spoilers from here, is that Disney was making the same movie over and over and over again, and they did so with this ancient relic that they have called the Pander Stone, where they can pander to audiences, and if they kind of overuse it, they'll sort of all the movies will start to suck, something like that. One of my favorite jokes, and it was like hardly. It was hardly a joke. Was they were like, "What do we know about the Pander Stone?" And some executive behind her goes, "Frighteningly little." Oh, that made me laugh. Frighteningly little.
What do we know about the Panderverse?
I'm afraid we know frighteningly little.
Kathleen Kennedy uses the Pander Stone so much that she opens a portal, and this like grotesque Cartman version of her like comes into our world and like really ramps up all the pandering.
And in the end, they come to a sort of an understanding that Cartman shouldn't rail on woke stuff all the damn time, and she shouldn't pander to everybody. And then the B plot is that Randy is, Stan's dad is sick of kids these days. They can't fix anything around the house. They're not handy anymore. He said, "I'm going to show you how to do it. What you do is you pick up the phone, you call a handyman, and then you wait, and they fix it." And so this one kind of toothless, trades guy, he's like too busy to do, to fix the door on their stove, and he, then there's like a psychologist who needs something fixed, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm too busy for you too." And then they're like, nobody can get tradesmen in South Park. So Randy asks Siri, where can I get, how can I fix a stove? And she's like, "I can't do it for you because I don't have arms, but maybe you could go down to Home Depot and hire like an unlicensed guy." And so he goes down to Home Depot, and instead of finding a bunch of illegal aliens who are looking for work, they find a bunch of white collar guys who want to trade human resources skills and journalism skills. And people keep driving by being like, "Who here knows how to use a power saw?" Like, I got a job for anybody who knows how to use a power saw. And they're like, I know HR.
They eventually go to they get resentful of the college, and they go to the college and they want to get a catapult. So they order a catapult, but it's in a box and they can't build it. So they pool all their money to like hire one of the handymen. The handyman keep getting progressively more wealthy as the episode goes on. So eventually they're like basically Elon Musk levels of wealthy. So they're like flying, like racing like rocket ships with each other and things like that, and buying social media.
There's a journalist, they said like, "Nobody in South Park knows how to do shit. Like, here with the report is Tom." He's like, "Thanks, Tom. I'm standing in my bathtub where as you can see, the bath tile is rotting, and the handyman said he was going to come here on Friday, but he's too busy with other better paying jobs." It was really, really smart and really funny. And I've just been such a huge fan of this show for so long, and to see them still, especially I didn't watch the video, but there's been this video going around insisting that Simpsons is good again. It can't be true. But
Yeah, it's super eye patch wolf. I watched it and it was super unconvincing. It was like, yeah, I thought a couple of the episodes were good, and like they really it's like the Mario Wonder, the development team was told to experiment. And they're like forget about what Simpsons in the past, like tell your own stories and stuff like that. And it sounds like they just made a bunch of insufferable stories that I would never want to watch with using Simpsons characters. But
dumb millennials,
as I say. But yeah, but this is great, and I love, of course, black Cartman, black female Cartman gets sucked into that universe, and she's like, bossing everyone around to like use a credit card to buy a computer, and like because they need to like do some science or something, but then she just ends up playing Baldur's Gate 3.
It's working! It's working, you guys! It looks sweet on this big monitor!
Wait a minute. You mean this entire time, all you've wanted to do is play Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah, what'd you think I was trying to do?
And she realizes that safe states don't like come over to universes. That's good.
When they finally revealed that that's what she was doing, I laughed so hard. It was like, it's working, you guys. It's working. It's Baldur's Gate 3. It's booting up.
You are Cartman.
Yeah, it made me realize, like, maybe that's some of the reason for the longevity of the show is like they have a character there in Cartman who can just be dissected a million, like in that post-COVID special they did last year or the year before or whatever, when he grew up to be like an Orthodox Jewish guy, and then in a different, when they fix the past, he's like a sad, like drunken homeless guy, and it's a very rich character as it so happens. Throughout the episode, the boys are like, it doesn't make sense. Why would Cartman be a black female? And they're like, I think the problem's you, if you can't see.
I do like when all the adult characters immediately accept black female Cartman. They're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I'm okay with this.
Good, Cartman, Eric.
Dad, this might be hard to understand, but this is Eric Cartman.
Oh, okay, great. Come on, Eric, we need to go.
But yeah, some of the critiques were like, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't represent all of Disney. That's just Lucasfilm, and you're gonna let Bob Iger off the hook. And what about this? And what about that? And it's like, yeah, all technically true, but again, like the number one job here is to make you laugh, and
it's a satire.
As a piece of comedy, it was a really, really strong piece of comedy. And I know I've heard them say that before, where they're like, we do have to sometimes remind ourselves, like, wait, what makes this funny again? Like, we need to bring it back to the funny,
I know it's just joke after joke, but I like that. At least it doesn't get all preachy and up its own ass with messages,
You had to channel all of the executive hate into one figure because that's just... Yeah. It makes it very clean. It makes the story clean. I do like it when they're going through all the universes and like the clothes. It's like the clothes keep changing. It's like, oh, so many different clothes. Oh, I have pants and shirts.
It's kind of it's vindicating because I feel very confused because I feel like we've been watching 4 years of some of the worst cinema I've ever seen in my life. Like, just one of the most terrible eras of movies, and so uncontroversially so indisputably so, and
television.
But then we'll go on Discord, and they'll be like, "I liked it," or they'll be like, "You're negative," or they'll be like, "You just need to watch something better. There's lots of good stuff," or well, yes, it was bad, but not because of that, because of this. And it like fucks with my sense of reality. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I'm like on the wrong side of this. But then like I step out in the real world and I look around, like nobody's watching these shows and everybody agrees they blow. And there's like an hour-long episode of South Park memorializing the fact that they blow.
Oh yeah.
So
and the Nelson numbers for Loki are finally out, and it's 39% lower than the season 1, so that's good.
See, I think that was probably just COVID that did that. I think it's probably what could it be? Look, look. The writer's strike was really challenging on everybody. What else? What else we got?
When it rains, it pours for Disney, apparently, because Variety came out with this huge cover story.
We're talking about 4 years of misses. I mean, one after another. And not just misses, like some pretty big bombs, and also a lot of projects that they knew that they were misses while they were making them, and they tried to reconstruct them and couldn't.
I guess that was the thing about the South Park episode. It did feel like it's like, okay, like about time that you're doing this in some ways, because it's been obvious for so long. So it almost like they did it because it felt safe to do it, and now Variety is putting this out because it's safe to do so. It's like it's clearly like a failure.
Yeah. Yeah, like how could we possibly dispute that? Yeah.
This is kind of the most shocking for me is Mahershala Ali was ready to exit Blade over script issues. The story at one point reportedly morphed into a narrative led by women filled with life lessons. Blade was relegated to 4th lead. And then they brought in the Logan writer Michael Green to restart the script from scratch.
I think just pathologically, they need to they're always subverting. They always have to undercut what the thing is supposed to be in the first place. It's like a weird, urge that they seem to have, compulsion, as Dahmer would say.
Led by women, filled with life lessons.
South Park did a pretty good job where it's like, well, is it bad because of their political agenda? Or is the way that their political agenda manifests in their stories a symptom of laziness? And it's like, it's the latter. There's other stuff here like, maybe we should do Doctor Doom. You know, what the hell are we doing with Kang? Maybe we should be doing Doctor Doom. They're talking about maybe we should bring back the old Avengers. They made us money. This was something, that I saw along the way, which was that in addition to the domestic violence allegations with Jonathan Majors, apparently there was brutal conduct towards staff. So he was difficult to work with maybe. And then, the Marvels is tracking real low. The director, I guess, moved away during post-production. The test screenings aren't doing well. I have heard now that the after credits is all about X-Men. It's nothing. It's Beast shows. Kelsey Grammer's Beast shows up or something.
I can't believe that. This might be the first Marvel project I skip in a long time. I think it's only right and just. I think it's time to put it to rest. So if you're looking for the review of the Marvels right away, it's not happening. It's not happening on this channel, folks. That's the ultimate sign of desperation if they're just trying to get the original cast back. That would be cool. You do it, but then after that, what do you do? It just seems
they're all way too old.
It's they're way too old. You'll get them back for a thing. People will probably watch that. But then where do you go from there? So it does seem like they're just scrambling for anything. And they're even getting Kelsey Grammer in here.
They probably know, don't people come to the theater to see things that they're kind of interested in? Maybe we should have one of those.
One of those for once.
We lost our way. We forgot that maybe people want to watch things they're interested in. Oh, the hubris.
Put a chick in it and make it f***ing gay as f***.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.